the world's most global entertainment venue, proud of offering you pleasurable encounters with other cultures through authentic cuisines and performances. This is Benjamin, your humble servant, and tonight's event is a spoken word poetry show, Exodus, by Marevito Zabad. Before we begin, please accept Benjamin's deepest apologies for the delay, and allow Benjamin to welcome you with a traditional Asian dance of friendship. Please enjoy. Apropos pari pari, apropos pari pari, singiraki, 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 apropos pari pari, hi hi, apropos pari pari, hi hi, singiraki, 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 ahi ori ho, ahi ori ho, ahi ori ho. Greetings. Thank you very much for coming to the unfolding of Benjamin's misery. I know it's a weird title. I am storyteller Benjamin, who will narrate you through the eventful evening at Ptolemaic Universe, where you just saw Benjamin the humble servant dancing for you. Now you may be wondering, if that Benjamin humble servant and this Benjamin storyteller are the same person, good question, 1 Benjamin point for you. Well, I wasn't a Benjamin by birth. I was born nobody. But when I crossed the border, somebody named me Benjamin. Now, have a think. Why this particular name, Benjamin? There's no deeper meaning, of course. I suppose it could have been Jason or David, whatever you like. Like you can name your dog Stacy, Panda, or Schwarzenegger. But this Benjamin soon became humble servant. But eventually, out of Benjamin the humble servant was born I, Benjamin the storyteller. So yes, these two Benjamins are same person. Me, but different personas of me. And together, they complement each other to represent this idea of who I am more completely. And likewise, tonight, I ask you, audience, to become more audience than you already are by playing different kinds of audience, namely the audience here was me and the audience at Ptolemaic Universe was Benjamin, the humble servant. Yes, you have to play your part tonight. If you thought you could just sit back, relax, and enjoy the play, too bad. And too late, the door is locked. Well, what does it mean? Am I asking you any lines for sharing the, I don't know. Am I asking you to do some high-level audience interaction? Am I asking you to speak some lines for me? Good question. 1 Benjamin point for you. Oh, by the way, if you earn 10 Benjamin points, you get to play Jenga with Benjamin, so go for it. Well, I don't know, maybe you have some lines to speak, maybe you won't. But just stay alert that you are part of the play. Now, let us go back to the story, but rewind a little bit before where we stopped. So you will know why Benjamin was dancing. Only for you. Yes. Okay. Thank you for calling. Bye. Oh my God. Oh, Sebastian. Hit by a horse on the road. Unbelievable. But now that he's in the hospital, Benjamin has to work alone tonight. But why hasn't the poet arrived here either? He doesn't even have a phone. Outrageous. We're 10 minutes late already. Everybody's waiting. Hello, this is Benjamin from Ptolemaic Universe. Benjamin, it's me, Martin. boss, are you back from the business trip? Yeah, Benjamin, I've just safely made it to the airport from the exotic oriental world. I became very jealous of you Asians for living such a spiritual life to this day. Oh, by the way, Benjamin, why are you answering the phone? Because you made a call, sir. I know. What I'm saying is, that's Sebastian's job, isn't it? Why are you taking a phone call? Are you trying to have him work from the hospital? But what do you mean, what's happening? You're terrifying the Benjamin said, no! Why is Sebastian in the hospital? You won't believe this. He got hit by a horse on the road. Come on, stop fooling around, Benjamin. Foolish, yes. But that's life. Life is full of ups and downs. Mostly downs. And it goes on. Forever. So you're serious, Benjamin? Do you know if he's okay? They said he'd be discharged in a few days. Oh, that's good to know. Are you just by yourself now then? Yes, sir. Benjamin is alone. Single. Divorced twice. I didn't ask you that. Is everything ready for tonight's performance? No, the poet hasn't arrived yet either, sir. Why did you call him? No, he doesn't have a phone, and we're already 15 minutes late now. That's bad. How many audiences do you have? Not so many. That's fine, Benjamin. That's fine. You should be happy. Alright? Alright, it takes me about 40 minutes to get there. So you're going to somehow manage the situation, do you understand? So you're coming here. It's going to be just you and Benjamin alone. That's kind of intimate, isn't it? Well, nothing sexual. So what are you mumbling, Benjamin? Did you understand or not? Yes. Benjamin will give it to the audience. Complimentary drinks. Now, don't do that. Yeah, you just told Benjamin to manage the situation. Yeah, but nothing for free. Huh? Why so stingy, sir? Why, if you're so generous, Benjamin, do what you please, but I'll have to dock your wages in that case. Is that clear? Let's not do it then. You know how little Benjamin's wages are. Are you, by chance, complaining, Benjamin? Of course not. Although, yes, Benjamin thinks $7 per hour is not an ideal wage. Benjamin, I've already told you this multiple times. You have to first have experience. Perseverance, Benjamin. Wait, it's been 7 months already. I'll not just stay for free in my caravan. But Benjamin pays for the bills, including your Netflix and YouTube Premium. You watch all those craps all the time, do you? Benjamin works 7 days a week. What else could Benjamin do in his spare time? Oh, Benjamin! Don't forget, I'm taking a risk by hiring the undocumented people like you. Oh, don't get me wrong. I like your presence as your face is a living proof that our bar celebrates multicultural diversity. Oh, Benjamin, listen. I know it's hard to make a living. I once was there too, trust me. But because I worked hard, now I own 5 different bars, live with a beautiful family. I don't want you to give up on all this opportunity just because you're not happy with the way. Yes, of course, I respect your freedom, so yeah, if you want to quit, you can even leave right now if you want. You know, there are thousands of the Benjamins out there that I can hire by tomorrow. But if Benjamin leaves now, who's gonna take up the bar tonight? Are you crazy? You cannot leave right now, you fool. You told Benjamin can leave now. Actually, I have a good idea. During my trip around Asia, I saw lots of primitive people of the earth performing their exotic, crazy, traditional dance. Your blood must know it better. Why don't you do that to the audience? That's going to be fantastic, don't you think? No, you're outrageous in many ways, but come on. They are here for a cultural performance, Benjamin. Benjamin's not a performer, sir. Ah, but you're Asian. Asians should know Asian dance. Come on, traditional Asian dance. Sir, Asia is too big. Besides, Benjamin grew up with Western music and Hollywood movies. I understand. Improvise. Improvise something then. Improvise. That's not even traditional anymore. Who cares, Benjamin? Nobody would know the difference. That's true. But Benjamin doesn't want to stop whining, Benjamin. Where's the rest I can attitude? Maybe that's why your wages are still low. Actually, last week before I went to the trip, I had this Malaysian guy came in for a job interview. I forgot his name because I was going to turn him down, but now you make me think I should probably hire this new Benjamin as somebody's replacement. Do you know what I'm talking about? I said, you know what I'm talking about? Yes. Do you mean that? Well, it's up to you. All I'm saying is this. I prefer somebody who works hard for customer satisfaction. Again, I respect your choice. If you don't want to lose this job, prospect, and shelter, think harder before you say anything. So let me just ask you one final time. What do you do? Huh? What do you want to do for the audience? Benjamin, I asked you what you want to do. Cannot hear you, Benjamin. Benjamin! Benjamin. Well, dance. Goodbye! That's the spirit. Keep entertaining the audience. You can do it. Bye. Thanks for your encouragement. Greetings. Thank you so much for coming to the Ptolemaic universe, the world's most global entertainment venue. Proud of offering you pleasurable encounters with other cultures through authentic cuisines and performances. This is Benjamin, your humble servant. Tonight's event is a spoken word poetry show excerpts by Hideto the Bard. Before we begin, please accept Benjamin's deepest apologies for the delay and allow Benjamin to welcome you with traditional Asian dance of friendship. Please enjoy. Apropos puri-puri, apropos puri-puri, sing-irahi, apropos puri-puri, hi, apropos puri-puri, hi, sing-irahi, What an epic performance! You all played really well with the audience at Ptolemaic Universe. Without your presence, boss wouldn't have forced the Benjamin to dance. You all deserve Oscars for Best Supporting Role. Congratulations! Now, thanks to your cooperation, we all know that pleasurable culture encounter and miserable culture appropriation are just two sides of the same coin. Such a cheap expression, isn't it? Two sides of the same coin. But does the expression become cheaper if I use a penny instead of a dollar? No. Because it has nothing to do with actual coins. It talks about how two apparent opposition are just a slight difference of perspectives, and neither side is in itself complete. Are we aware of this double-sidedness for many progressive ideals like diversity, equality, liberty? None of these we can judge by nature good or bad, valuable or invaluable, just like this useless object, coin. I mean, what can you do with it other than scratch cars, coin toss, or put it on like this as a fashionable item? But when you look at things too closely, you see neither size, but only what you believe you see in eyes and minds. Now, heads or tails?
Tails.
Tails, everybody. If he gets right, 3 Benjamin points for everybody, right? Tails. I don't care, because something more interesting was happening in the air. Once you toss a coin, it never flips just once. It keeps changing its face until it hits the ground. That's very much like a life, don't you think? Excuse me. Do you work here? Here? It's Benjamin, your humble servant. Oh, Benjamin, good to see you. I was looking for you. Are you from the immigration office? No, Hideto, the poet. You! Finally! Too late. Benjamin danced already. So you're a dancer, Benjamin? No, you bastard! I'm sorry. Also, I'm sorry I came late. I was getting here on time, but I saw this guy hit by a horse on the road. Liar! If you claim to be a poet, you should have come up with a better excuse. Who gets hit by a horse on the road in 2020? Sebastian! That's it. That's his name. How'd you know? He works here. Don't worry, I called an ambulance for him. Oh, thank you so much. Wait, so you do have a phone? No, I used his phone. Oh, that makes sense. Well, at least you came late for a good reason. That doesn't mean Benjamin forgive you. If you were here, boss wouldn't have forced Benjamin to dance. How humiliating it was. I'm sorry to hear that. But you have to stand up for your rights. Oh, it's easy for you to say that. You don't know how things work here. You know what boss always said? There are thousands of Benjamins out there. If Benjamin alone stands up, some other Benjamin will take the seat. A stampede always begins with a sheep, desperate and unfree that you always have been. Ooh, what a great speech. But your sympathy doesn't feed Benjamin's hungry stomach in the least. If you want to read your poetry, just go to the stage already. People have been waiting a long time. Off you go. Alright? But we'll talk later. Watch me perform from there. Hi everybody, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for coming to my show, Exodus. My name is Hideto, the Bard. But you might call me the Caliban of the East. The beast speaks in a tongue of the imperialist. a dissenting descendant of the impalpable Orient, or the inorganic world originated in alphabet, or better yet, the staged state of unrest in which the civilized West played the leading role of a preacher, justified by the divine plan to excuse its abusive use of speech to fight against the brutal creatures, for its damned demand to expand its clan in distant lands. What an outrage! Those pages of centuries-old dominance are still today praised as the golden age at the top of the hierarchies among white societies. But let them engage in their great decadence. For the sickly, toxic, narcissistic syntax will soon sink in its own abyss of sinful symbolism. Their language, unfettered from the purported masses, now serves more universal purpose in the hands of importers, to subvert the order of imperial discourse, distorted as one feels in speaking non-native tongue. Nonetheless, in this distant, thus internalized lies self-reflective consciousness in effect. Hesitate to not speak improperly, for we lack other proper ways to indicate our everyday is in decay. Let the form communicate louder than the words. Worse was when colonial aggressors dressed so pompously to repress their immanent irrationality, anxious to transfer their trauma onto sacrificial others. Let us learn from their ignorance of ignorance, yearn for the transformative initiative of the negative, and return to what missed in the past perspective. Only then can we befriend this bitter fragment in us as a positive feature, and evoke this speech of the past subjugation to evolve into the means of emancipation. Thus, I embrace my foreigners in me. Who would I even be without these founders of my identity, with whom I share my body, posture, gesture, beyond any letters? Each bit of failure assimilation simultaneously simulates similarity, designates disparity, and stimulates ambiguity to amplify until to replace my face. And this ontic persistence of mine resists to rest on written pages that you can read alone in the bedroom under slightly dimmed evening light alongside your favorite cup of chamomile tea. That's why I perform poetry, to save the trace of otherwise erased, unwritten sounds of a foreignness manifest in my intonation, enunciation, and mispronunciation, countless occasions of being silenced from my inability to speak fluently or to express fully, initiated my learning of this language of silence. In the beginning was the unspoken word, barred from the garden of prosic speeches. I entered the world of the bard through its exit. When I gave a name to the wound in me and became a poet, when you too find it in you, I invite you to let me welcome you as I do to you. Thank you. So now, if you want to clap, you can clap. If you don't want to clap, just listen. It's all up to you. Thank you very much. Now I travel around the world to make poets and artists out of everybody, not as a profession, but as a way of critical and creative being of life. But living like a nomad means I'm constantly nobody. Everywhere I go, nobody knows me. There's a story only nobodies can know and tell. The next poem, titled Hummingbird, is my tribute to all those nobodies within each single one of you. His perpetual journey of unsettlement finally came to an end. His decaying voice, though thin for hummingbird, became the hallmark of self-irony for its name. His damaged wings, after decades of riding winds across the seven seas, molted all youthful feathers over the borders of the patriotic bravados. Yet his old eyes still recognize the tiniest life forms in every land he rested, his wings of solitude for a season. And his gratitude for his birthplace was the reason behind his residence in homelessness. Once every year, he effectively orbited the earth. So he made fun of me when I said, "Look at the beautiful sunset." The sun never sets. You are the one moving around it. Don't be so arrogant as to forget, like I am your other, you are other to me, to the people, to the world around you. Everywhere I visit, people expect me to sing, quite naturally. But as soon as they hear my hoarse voice with a crooked accent, they look away. They don't care how real hummingbird sounds like. It's either you mimic their ideal image of you, or you don't exist at all. And whoever lives in this gap between how they look to be and who they feel to be is a foreigner. And every power creates all kinds of foreigners, be they national, sexual, cultural, racial, religious, both within and without the borders. Isn't it so hopeless that it's hopeful? I was listening to him, confused, staring at him, speechless. So he continued, "Power belongs to only a handful of morons standing on a countless dead bodies, yet powerlessness is a potential in everybody. Nothing can be more inclusive than the bitter experience of exclusion. Our fight is how to unite your pain with mine. When I die, please scatter my ashes in the inner kingdom of Zenos. There are all kinds of foreigners fighting their individual struggle, but they share one collective project of not fighting each other, for they know egotism and altruism are one and the same, cannot be otherwise." How can I get there when I don't even know where that is? You're already there, just not aware of it. You're like my youth, naive and ambitious, like when I was taking for granted my wings and voice and didn't even hesitate for a moment to leave behind my bitter sweethearts. I told them their happiness was not to be with me, as if I could define their happiness. To this day, they haunt my insomniac pillows and remind me of all the goodbye kisses, hugs, and tears. And as time goes by, these karmas weigh more heavily on me, but they also make me flap my wings with more strength to reach farther, to fly higher. I must go on to redeem the farewells. In so saying, his dried eyes were shaded with water. "It must have been a lonely journey then," I said. After a few seconds of silence, he replied, "When two nobodies meet, they both vanish. For each leaves their trace in the other. If I say to you, yes, my journey has been lonely, who are you that I'm talking to now? You don't need friends to overcome loneliness. It is through sharing your loneliness true friendship blooms. As a hummingbird, I can assure you, everywhere you go, you find a nest of artistic vigor where the wounded who seek salvation goes to listen to another wounded who seeks redemption through singing. There my voice becomes more than mine. It starts to sing for the movement, so big, so global, so sublime that I believe my fight for its cause may eventually reach all the dear ones I left along the way. There cannot but be one sky. Now look up. Do you see those gloomy clouds circulating and generating the pouring rains of wealth? And those skyscrapers standing even higher? But we never get to see what's happening up there, because the very sunlight we need to expose them from its misty veil stays above the clouds. And now look at the ground. What do people do? Demolish bridges, shut tunnels, build the walls just to secure tiny raindrops. When the sky is out of reach, they crack the ground, but from a little above the ground, it's obvious all those cynics, skeptics, hedonists, and pity party goers, they are under the same gloomy sky, deprived of the sun and its healthy shadows. I don't know my journey had any meanings. If there's one youth who might have thought their voices worse as mine heard me and learned from me, it is okay to speak up in such a voice. I guess my journey wasn't a total waste, for that voice could be the one the world has been waiting for. So don't forget, my dear, your voice speaks for hope, and only those who live tomorrow can decide for what cause will today be yesterday. So thank you. and close his eyes that I knew would never open again. Instead of saying goodnight to my bittersweet heart, I set off for this journey to sing like him, to fly like him, to tell you on behalf of him, the sun never sets. Thank you. Now, to conclude the first half of Exodus, I'd like to send you a song called Everyday Dissident. This is a critical movement, I sing for everyday dissidents, This is a critical movement, I sing for everyday dissidents, Were I a tyrant, want you to think there's nothing you can do. Were I a CEO, want you to fear somebody can take your job away. Were I a president, want you to hate souls who look different. Were I a police, want you to know I can shoot you at any time. But I'm a poet, naive enough to speak the truth. But I'm an actor, foolish enough to play the wise. But I'm a dancer, fettered enough to be free. But I'm a singer, mute enough to cry for peace. Whoa, whoa, oh, yeah. Whoa, whoa, oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a critical movement, I sing for everyday dissident, This is a critical movement, I sing for everyday dissident, When you have no hope, don't you look forward, look inward. When you have no job, live each moment as a full-time human. When you have no dream, listen to the universe full of wonders. When you have no love, love you. Yes, I'm a poet, naive enough to speak the truth. Yes, I'm an actor, foolish enough to play the wise. Yes, I'm a dancer, fettered enough to be free. Yes, I'm a singer, mute enough to cry for peace. Whoa, whoa, oh, yeah. Whoa, whoa, oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a critical movement, I sing for everyday dissidents, This is our critical movement, I sing for everyday dissidents, everyday dissidents, yeah. This is a critical movement, I sing for everyday dissident, This is a critical movement, I sing for everyday dissident, Thank you very much. Now we'll take 5 minutes interlude. Thank you. No, we're not taking 5 minutes. Stay there. The audience that's taking a break right now is in the Pluralite universe. The audience you're playing right now is here with me, Benjamin the storyteller. So not taking a break. It may seem hard to keep track, but all of us switch between characters quite easily in our everyday life. For instance, I suppose you're a bit quieter in the library than at the sports stadium. You may behave differently when you speak in a second language. You may feel more secure with your friends than with strangers. Our self, it turns out, has much more than two sides. The so-called inner self never really lives alone inside, but it's always in a relationship with others outside. So now, have a moment to think about who you are made up of and who you think you make up of. Benjamin, did you see me perform? Yes, sir. It was very interesting. Interesting. You know, that's what people say when they don't enjoy the thing. Precisely. You're not so funny. You're not a great singer. Your poetry was difficult to follow. Well, Benjamin thought you were courageous, and that was very impressive. Thank you for your honesty. Yeah, you're welcome. You almost convinced that Benjamin can be an everyday dissident, whatever that means. Benjamin is nothing, you know. Right, I know. You know, because you said so. Benjamin was expecting some encouragement from you. Well, that was, in a way, encouragement. You know, the feeling of nobodiness is a necessary process to become somebody. Bollocks. No. Hear my story. You really like telling your stories, don't you? That's what I do. Sorry, not sorry. I used to dream of becoming a comedian. Wait. Who? You. Wow. I eventually gave up. Yeah, that's probably for the best. You're not so funny. You're a deadly serious person, you know? Anyway, I used to like making my friends laugh. So when I grew up, I naturally started doing stand-up comedies at open mics and made jokes about my shitty job and me, boss, and people loved it because they wanted to laugh away the stress their own boss causing them. Oh, Benjamin couldn't agree more. But one morning, on my way to work, I suddenly realized, no matter how many times I make jokes about them, my mean boss still exists, the job is still shitty, life goes on like that. Yeah, that's just the way it is. But why do we perform if what we do on stage doesn't change anything, rather perpetuate it? Well, people need to have a good time. Sure, but if your peekaboo never stops baby from crying, you got to change the goddamn dirty diaper. Goddamn, what are you talking about? It's the cause, not the effects of suffering you have to remove. So I quit my job right away. Like that. Like that. To take off the goddamn dirty diaper. Precisely. Why are you not afraid? Of what? Of losing your job and prospect and life and everything. Nah. I was already hitting the bottom, feeling insecure all the time. I just dared to accept this hopelessness. Something started changing, actually. Like what? My savings, what happened? Decreased every week. No surprise. Everything else increased. Like my time for thinking. Reading, and writing, and musicking as well. And ever since, I live as everyday dissident. So that's your story. Very interesting. Interesting? Oh, no offense. Genuinely interesting. But, you know, not everybody can live like you. That's the whole point. Every everyday dissident must be different. Every everyday dissident must be different, but if there's one thing in common, it's that they all know they have to take off the goddamn dirty diaper. Precisely. So now I travel around the world to let people find everyday dissident in themselves. So now you live to take off people's panties. Not quite. That makes people uncomfortable, and that's it. I don't force anybody. You didn't like it when your boss forced you to perform, right? Oh my God, that was horrendous. See? Now I suggest you do not ignore that itch you felt. It means something disturbs you. Of course! Who wouldn't be disturbed? Yes. But most people tend to look away. Because it's easier to patch it up and put on a sweater and go on living as usual than just looking into the wound. If you want to become everyday dissident, Benjamin, I dare you to unclothe, uncover, go naked to see what's beneath the pain. The cut might be deeper than you think it is. Unclothe. Yes. All right. Well, it's already 5 minutes. If you're ready for the second half, Benjamin will go make an announcement. Please. Okay. Oh my God, we're back again. Brother, sister, everybody. This is Benjamin, your humble servant, back again. Please be seated. Now, we're going to move on to the second half of Exodus by my bit of the bard. Before we begin, please allow Benjamin to entertain you with another sort of performance to become everyday dissident. Ding, 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 ding. Sing it here, 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 Please enjoy the second half of Exodus. Excuse me, please. Why did I do it? I don't know. It just so happened when Benjamin went off stage, I felt this indescribable feeling, sensation, the excitement penetrating all my body. Nothing sexual, of course. It was sublime, but if you ask, was it truly liberating? I hesitate to say yes. No single act counts as liberation unless we normalize its momentum. Even authoritarian regime may sponsor one of carnival if it makes their citizens more governable and submissive for the rest of the year. What if you keep living in festive haze all the time? They won't let you free, instead give you tremendous amount of pressure to take off the mask, stop the boozing, and get back to work. That's how you know you are actually posing a threat against the status quo. But would you dare to dance like an idiot for Monday mornings? I guess not. That's why I haven't given you any lines to speak or any high-level audience interaction, because it's not what you do during this play, but after the play that matters. As for Benjamin, just stripping once on stage doesn't make him a dissident out of Benjamin either. The rest of the story where Benjamin will finally face the truth behind its misery. This is my gift for you to bring home, so that whenever your turn comes, whenever your misery begins to unfold, the story will go through the struggle with you. So thank you. This was Benjamin, your storyteller. Benjamin, did you see how people look at you? Especially the family. They're like, are you really stripping? Should my children be seeing that? Of course. Oh, Benjamin can feel everybody's gaze as if somebody's still watching the Benjamin. Benjamin! Hello, boss. What are you doing there? That's my question. What have you been doing there? Naked? You look as naked as Benjamin. Shut up. Just answer my question. What have you been doing there? Are you angry, sir? No, why do you think so? You always smile unnaturally whenever you're angry. I'm not angry. If you think so, well, answer my question. See, you are angry. No, I'm not angry. Just answer my goddamn question. What have you been doing there, naked? Normal job. The normal job. So you always work like that, Benjamin? Not really. Then why are you naked? Because Benjamin performed the strip. Performed the strip? Hmm? You're not a performer? You're not allowed to be on stage, don't you think? That's right. Sorry. That's right. So you knew it. Knew what? Benjamin's not a performer. Obviously. Performance is not a part of Benjamin's job. Of course not. Why did you force Benjamin to perform traditional Asian dance idea? Well, that's one thing, this is another. No. It's the same thing. You always contradict yourself, Benjamin. You think you must be right all the time, but no. Come on, Benjamin. Of course, I'm a human. I make a mistake too. I always ask who paid for it. Benjamin, stop talking back to me like that. Without me, you wouldn't even have this fantastic job. Absolutely. 7 days a week. $7 per hour. Fantastic. Are you being sarcastic? No. But if you took it so, maybe you have a guilty conscience. That's enough! Fine, Benjamin. Well, if you want to be witty, be my guest. But I don't want anybody disrespectful or naked to serve my customers. You say you don't like working here, I don't want to become a stripper. You don't need this uniform in that case anymore, right? And no, Benjamin needs it tomorrow. So no, you don't need it tomorrow. In fact, ever. Oh no, please, no. Please forgive, Benjamin, forgive. You don't have to apologize, Benjamin, I told you. I'm not angry. I'm just trying to help your career transition. Benjamin doesn't want to quit the job. Hopefully this will fit the new Malaysian Benjamin. Do you mean that? Well, it's sad to see you go, but that's what you really wanted. But Benjamin wanted to stay in the job. Nah, it's alright, Benjamin. Be honest with your feeling. I know you've never been happy here. I wish you best luck to find a better job elsewhere. I just need you to give me back your uniform and the caravan that you're staying. Take off your socks with you. I said take off your socks. Sure, sir. Yes, I am sure as hell take off your socks now. Thank you. Boss, not your boss anymore? What's the matter? Do you need the underwear too? Of course not. But this is yours. It's alright, Benjamin, you keep it. But Benjamin insists. It's alright, Benjamin, keep it on. Benjamin's everyday dissonance takes off the goddamn dirty diapers. What are you talking about, Benjamin? Why don't you keep this uniform with it, so don't show me your little Benjamin. So Benjamin can stay in the job. Well, fine. But if you want to come back here, you have to learn yourself self-discipline and never complain about the job. Because I'm generous, I'm giving you this last chance. I'm heading to the office now. See you tomorrow. Did you finish your performance? Yeah, Benjamin! Nobody thought you'd literally strip yourself, but you did a great job, and thanks to you, my second half went so much better. That's good for you. Why do you look so sad? Do you want to hear the story? If you don't mind. Everybody else already knows what happened. Do you still want to hear? Who's everybody else? You know. These people. I know who you're talking about. That's fine. Let me just read your mind. Wow. Your boss. Horrendous. Just because you're naked, I mean, he looks as naked as him. What? What an asshole. I'm sorry you have to go through that. This happens all the time. Right. But you're really staying in this job. As if Benjamin had any other choice. Everywhere is the same. What do you mean everywhere is the same? You want to hear the story? Well, if you don't mind. Everybody else. No. I don't know it. May I borrow your ukulele? But you know how to play. Of course not. Have you ever wondered why life is cursed to go on? I found an answer by asking the wrong question. Tight in the back of a rusty truck, but left his livestock behind. Then my boyhood went straight into the beans, along with junk mails, only late at night with a bombing revived from cardiac arrest. Even then, televised optimism prescribed hypnotics to the exhausted working parents' collective soon. Our schools, for majority, taught us math, logic, and geography, so we could calculate, state, and locate our mediocrity. When they sent us to a factory instead of a university, our parents seemed disappointed, but relieved in secrecy. In this urban pastoral human breed that will never stampede, assembled with thousands of electronic devices today still unable to hold none. Every demand for upgrade supplied us reason to suicide. Do you realize the screen you look ideological translation of depression, exploitation, and humiliation became love, care, and selfless dedication. No wonder why they speak highly of a family, for it is a factory to produce their cheap means to meet their luxurious needs. To this day, our family home stands empty, paying the rent. Have you ever wondered why life is cursed to go on? Ask that answer, my asking the wrong question. Na, 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 na. Across the great Pacific, I sought my escape. The waves bleached my name along the way. In this land, time seems to divorce nature. Hyperactivity makes a prayer for the creator. Servitude promises survival, so I play the patronizable to the patrons and the profitable to those who detest my presence. Praising their temple of confidence pleases devotees of omnipotence who studiously pursue free time and propagate happiness at work. Every paycheck has convinced me of their Lord. Same hours of same labor, somehow more rewards. Still broken glass, yet full of champagne's taste. Too much temptation leaves no time to waste. 8 days a week I housekeep and serve the rich ethnic dishes. 10 nights a week I indulge in fantasies on TV. I binge all I can to live my life every inch. Obsessive compulsive disorder over freedom is the kingdom's norm. The public-private co-funded a pandemic synthesizes all diseases and whitewashes a biosystem to stop censoring social ills. Asleep in the heaven I no longer care, my heart beats. The healthy mind is quietly dying from an overdose of this sublimated delight. I'm a prison guard who volunteered to work sleepless shifts to stay free. Have I come so far to find out the hope I seen was a counter of fate? Have I come so far to lament my grief was function of my fate? Where was I going when no land was free from the waves of desire? Where was I going when no one was free from the chains of labor? Will you set me free at home, though I was born from your appetite? Will you set me free from the shadow of your life-draining satellite? Am I really live this life the world tells me I was born to live? Am I ready to live this life that keeps making me wonder if I'm alive? Will there be a day I thank my life for giving this misery worth storytelling? Have you ever wondered why life is cursed to go on? Ask that answer, my asking the wrong question. Na, 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 na. Benjamin, incredible. When did you write it? Never. What do you mean never? You're not saying you just improvised, are you? Yeah? Are you serious? You sounded like you've been rehearsing so many times and ready for this particular performance. What are you talking about? Never mind. Do you have a title for the song? Any suggestion? How about The Unfolding of a Benjamin's Misery? The Unfolding of Benjamin's Misery. Yeah, how does it sound? Weird. Weird! Too low, not so catchy. Alright, just forget it then. I think I need to go soon to catch my bus to travel home. Yep. And I think my job here is done. It was nice seeing you, Benjamin. Nice seeing you, sir. Don't forget your ukulele. Why don't you keep it? What do you mean? You need it for your performance. Well, I'm a poet. All I need is the audience. And I think you need it more than I do. For what? For telling your stories, of course. To whom? Nobody's interested. But how did you feel when you told me your story? Even then, the interest, Benjamin only. That's good. There are thousands of Benjamins out there, right? But they're all different. They have seen their struggle. They're waiting for you, Benjamin. How can I be so sure? I've never been sure. I just can't live otherwise. Freedom, Benjamin, is not a choice you make about what comes next. It's your courage to jump into the unknown future you cannot assess from where you are. I will look forward to your performance, and I will be there. What do you mean performance? What if Benjamin never even touched that thing? That's fine too. But I know you will. What if Benjamin just stays in this job forever? That's fine too. I know you won't. You don't even have a phone, Benjamin can't contact you. That doesn't matter. I'm already a part of you. I'll be there, no matter what. You don't make sense. Well, you don't make sense once you come back on stage to tell your story. So I'll see you there, a bitter sweetheart. Where are you going? This is a critical moment. Critical moment. I sing for everyday dissident. Everyday dissident. Thank you very much. It was Benjamin Storyteller. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was Benjamin, your humble servant.
Thank you very much. It was Martin.
Thank you very much. It was Martin. It was a bard. Thank you very much. It was Hideto Ambiguous.